Hey team, Claire here from My Mortgage, and today I just wanted to reflect a little bit on some research that's just come out regarding how parents in Aotearoa New Zealand are helping their children into their first homes. So basically what this research says, which is really interesting, is that the Bank of Mum and Dad, or however you refer to it, is actually becoming our fifth biggest lender, which is some pretty interesting information, really. And that probably overall lines up with parents helping children in a lot of different ways. So I thought I'd actually just talk a little bit about how parents are assisting their kids into their first homes. So the first way is obviously a gift. Some parents have got the ability to lend early inheritance or potentially some investment funds that they've already got. And sometimes it's a gift and sometimes it's a loan. Usually that's not repayable unless they sell the property. And then in that way, we can ensure that they don't have to make repayments, there's no interest cost, etc. to the parents. So those are the first two probably quite common ways. Another way that parents are helping is with a guarantee. So traditionally this was kind of just, hey, sign a piece of paper and make sure that if the kids don't pay their loan that we'll pay it, and these days it's a lot more involved. So it means that you've got to submit a full application for the parent or the family member who's supporting the child, and it also means there's a little bit more risk involved than potentially there used to be back in the day. So I generally recommend that unless parents are in a really strong financial position from a serviceability perspective, and they're also not looking to do other lending themselves, then that's sort of a good option in that case. The other couple of ways, sort of probably slightly more unknown, is the loan for deposit. So parents borrow a little bit against their property, whether that's 50 grand or 100 grand, and then they loan that money to the kid or the child. In that case, it means that their liability is limited to only $100,000 rather than potentially what might be $600,000 or $700,000 for an average property today. The last way that we quite often see parents assisting children is through a couple of really awesome first home buyer products through Westpac and BNZ, which we refer to as the Springboard, and that's Westpac's product name. So essentially this is very similar to the loan against the parent's property, but what it does is it actually ties the parent and the child up as a borrower for that amount. So to give you an example, it might be $50,000 to make up to a 20% deposit for the child. They've got some other money as well for deposit. And that $50,000 loan is secured against the parent's property, but the loan account is actually in all four names or all three names. So the parents and the child and potentially their partner. What that does is it ensures transparency, but it also means that it's really easy to unwind. And that's something that a lot of people don't consider with things like guarantees or loans for deposits, etc. Once that 50k is paid off, the child and the parent have no connection whatsoever to each other or to the properties that they own, which is probably the most important thing. So overall, lots and lots of options to assist children into their first homes. Another one we see a bit is joint ownership or some kind of ownership split for the new property. Occasionally the parents treat it as an investment. So there's a lot of options there, and I think one thing we do a lot of is discussing those options with the whole family as a whole. So parent, child, potentially the child's partner. We look at all the pitfalls, we make recommendations for them to speak to professionals, and we just make sure it's all done really well so that we're looking after everybody in each situation. So do you want to use the Bank of Mum and Dad? Come and have a chat with us. We'll lock in a time to catch up all together and make a plan about how to get you into your first home.